Now, that's an aside. Let me come to Mazi. Sister Anne mentioned the risks and the red flags that we can find. And from what she said, I will probably be saying that you will totally agree with me that every child that is resident in Nigeria is at risk. Is that still your position?
Definitely. It's my position. Just as I was trying to make reference to the Act, the Nigerian Act, 2003 Act. When you look at that Act, in fact, it goes an extra mile to draw attention to the interest of the Nigerian House of Assembly legislators to make sure that the interest of the child is paramount. It uses the word, in fact, paramount in it, in the Nigerian Act. But let us look at the statistics.
Okay.
Over 51% of Nigerian children suffer from multidimensional poverty. Over 51%. Over 40% suffer from stunted growth.
Resulting from malnutrition.
And 8% are wasting. In a country that has such an act where the interest of the child is the primary consideration, and those are the stark statistics. Even you don't even need to go far when you are walking on the streets of Nigeria to find out the factual nature of these statistics, because they are there.
Even many of them are out of school.
Exactly.
Many out of school.
Exactly.
I have a very funny experience. My mother-in-law retired as a permanent secretary, Minister of Women Affairs and Social Development in Nowhere. Said there was a time the governor came in, every child that is hawking will be arrested, and they went out one afternoon and grabbed all the children arrested all the children who were hawking on the street, and brought them to the hall and kept them. One small boy, less than 12 years, raised up his hand and told them that they're actually wasting his time because he would have made some money to buy food to take home. That now that they've arrested him, they don't have anything to eat at home.
You see?
So you see the stark reality. In fact, he said after the boy said that thing, that everybody, like, they couldn't look the boy in the eyes.
Exactly.
And they just bent their head. And all the kids they arrested walked out.
And the boy gave them facts.
Facts, exactly. That as it is that they don't have anything to eat. Now that brings us to the UK. Yes, there is a legal framework in place. There are practices. There are, provisions to take care of kids here. You want to say something?
No, don't worry.
Okay. They provide at least age of primary and secondary school here. You have secure and free education to attend, free medical facilities and so on. So that helps for the practices. But what I want to ask is this. I also do think that there is overkill on the system here in terms of the way they try to protect the kids. I would give you an example and you give me what your thought is. At the beginning of the year, I went to my kids' school where they do parents' evening. At the middle of the time, they come and tell you how the kids is faring and so on. I went to the first teacher, told me how my kids is faring, but okay, they're also making sure that their mental health is not impacted. I kept quiet. I went to the second teacher after telling me what's happening, and he also told me so that they also make sure that their mental health. I went to the third teacher. He said the thing. I said, come, this is the third person is telling you are saying this thing. What is it that will stress a child to have a mental health issue except to wake up, get ready, go to school and work hard? And the teacher started laughing. I said, this thing I said now is just what he's telling his kids at home. So much as we want to protect the kids, do you think that there is this overprotection in the UK that the kids are not allowed to develop to the full potential?
I think I would disagree with that.
Okay.
When it comes to the mental health, that's where we talk about the emotions, with the child having an emotion. So you have stated that what the child is supposed to do, why would that child have a mental health issue? Again, you forgot that they have peers. They have peer group. You don't know what is going on in that child. Maybe something is happening in the family that the child is not happy with. Maybe something is going on in the school environment, friends and all those things that the child is not happy with. So we kind of ignore that aspect. So I suppose that's what that teacher meant by, because they are checking all those things. So if they find out that the child is getting withdrawn, they might want to know. Again, when you ask me about the red flag, what is it? What are the signs? Suddenly a child that used to be very polite, the child that plays around, happy, and then they started seeing that child getting withdrawn. That's the mark that something is happening. This is the era of social media. A lot of things is happening in social media. You don't know who the child is engaging with in the social media. You don't really know what is going on. So that emotional aspect, because we can't see it, we kind of sometimes take it very lightly.
No, yes, okay. Let me come in again. Because I said at the beginning of this podcast, we are talking life experience and dishing out life skills. And most of the things I'm talking about are things I have experienced. I also have a feeling that a lot of times migrants, we need to be more careful because we can easily be picked out. Probably in the school your kid attends, he might be the only black person there, or maybe 2 or 3 black person. And once you have one in a multitude that is different, you can easily pick the child out.
The child becomes conspicuous.
Yes, exactly. That's the right word. It becomes conspicuous. And a lot of times, the authority, they pick things that they are not supposed to pick because this person is conspicuous. Even he has a oil stain on his shirt. It may be a case of he's not being taken care of at home. So is that, have you had that kind of experience, or is it a possibility? Migrants being picked out because they are conspicuous in terms of child protection.
Again, we are all professional. We know the prejudice, we know the discrimination. So it's all over the, people with people that are migrants. Again, this prejudice, someone doesn't know you, but they know a lot of things that are not even correct about you. So you've been judged even before by the way you look, by your skin color, that prejudice is there already. So people tend to have that kind of misunderstanding. So they hear so many things that is not correct, and they don't have a way of checking it out. So I think for me, in social work, they are trying to do cultural sensitivity, trying to make people to learn about people's culture, how people behave.
What do you mean this cultural sensitivity? Is it teaching the social workers in the field?
There's a provision for that training.
Good.
And where I work, fortunately. So I think when I started in that job many years ago, it was only me and one other person that looks different. But right now we have like 15 of them, 15 people like me. So that shows that they are now bringing people that have that come from different areas, in terms of the culture, in terms of how people behave. So you are very right that people. I will give you an instance. So I had opportunity when I was working with a family. So that family happened to be an African family. So some of the things that we picked up, to me, I would say it didn't really make sense. It's not supposed to be a problem. It's not supposed to go under child protection, but it went under child protection due to the language difficulty. The parents of the child did not understand. They don't understand English as much as, so they have limited understanding of English language. So when the worker that was responsible had an expectation, and this woman didn't know, she would knock on the door and ask. And the woman will say, "Oh, how can somebody come to my door and be doing like that?" And then she will shut the door, and then things escalated.
Right.
So, something like that. You are very right that our, people from migrants, when you say migrant, the prejudice is still there. But so far, I believe so many local authorities now are going into cultural training for people to know how different culture behave, and having people from having migrants again, maybe in social work, different types of different areas of social work again is helping.
Thank you for that explanation. I thought of that, and thank God that it's coming from an expert. Barrister Mazi, let me come back to you. When you were expressing the point about all that is wrong in Nigeria and all that's going wrong in Nigeria and continue to go wrong, do you think there is hope? If I was doing a research concerning the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child that has been domesticated in Nigeria, I think about not all it's actually a state issue. Not all the states have also adopted them in their local legislation. Do you think the states can do better, or is there any hope if states step up and local authorities step up to make things work in Nigeria? Because a child is a child, no matter where you find that child, whether it's in Nigeria, UK, Ghana, or Gambia. The right of a child is a universal convention, United Nations Right on the Convention of a Child, and I think it has a similar provision that the right of a child is paramount. So do you think the states can step up their game and make things better?
Definitely. Thank you very much. Definitely, states can definitely do better. The way Nigeria is organized is in such a manner that we have cultural variations. Because if you visit the north, for instance, you will see that there is this culture of children begging on the streets.
Yeah.
That is not part of our culture in the southeast.
Yeah.
So knowledge is not the exclusive preserve of anybody. If states know that their kids are missing out on education and on other welfare issues, they can emulate from other states to make sure that they bring their kids up. Because when you give birth to a child and you allow that child to go out, hawk on the street, beg, you will not even be aware of when the child has ill-fitting clothes, ill-fitting shoes, which are incidents.
Even when the child is
sick or hungry, which are indices that will make you to know that this child is at risk.
Right.
So definitely states can emulate, but the concern I have in particular about Nigeria is because the culture and the religion makes it very, very difficult for such emulation to happen and for Nigeria to be harmonious in the way they, do things. Because this state might even, a state in the north, for instance, Zamfara State, which declared sometime in 1999 that it starts implementing Sharia law. It might tell you that you are trying to dip hands into their Sharia legal system. And if you look into it, you may see that there are certain practices they might be doing there which will totally be abhorrent to a state in the south.
Like their age of marriage.
Exactly.
Which is
which is solo.
Which is we do not even want to go there. Sister Anne, I know there is a kind of the law 2014 Children's Act in the UK made provision for interagency link cooperation to safeguard the right of a child. For child protection. You want to talk us through or give us an example of how that works and mention some of the agencies that work together?
So thank you very much for that question. Remember you said how do we know when that red flag, how do we know? So you as a parent might not know what is going on. It might be a normal practice for you to do ABC, to use a normal thing. But then a child goes to the school, present very hungry or very tired, for some of them that stays in the internet all night.
You go to school and be nosy.
It's your responsibility to put that boundary, because they're still children, regardless. So depending on how that child presents, the school have the responsibility. That class teacher that is working directly one-to-one with that child has known that child, or maybe the child is new. Maybe the teacher is seeing something that is unusual. So as a human being, they have that responsibility. They might be wrong. They might be wrong. Maybe the child is unwell or something like that. They will check at first instance to know what is wrong. Then they will speak to that child. Whatever the child says, then depends on so if the child say, oh, my mom hits me or my dad hits me, or if the child disclose anything that looks very, very unsafe, so they have that responsibility to flag it up to the social work services. So if it involves beating a child, smacking a child, anyhow you put it, on. So that one is they will escalate it to the police, and it is their responsibility. They're not gonna tell you, because you are the, how do they call it, the perpetrator, right? That's the word, right? So they
Suspect.
so they won't tell you. So they will, first of all, they have that duty. So let's forgive our teachers, or any other person. That is what they feel. So it's now left for them, because they don't have the, they have the role to flag it up. They are not the ones that will take action. Their own is just to say that I'm concerned about ABC. So someone who is now expert on that direction will then step in.
This